if you believe it, just do it. Just do it. Never stop. Never stop. Because it's worse to renounce to something that you really feel in your heart. You know, try it and go for that. No matter what, but go for that.
Enter Talk Radio. You're in to all things music.
Welcome to Making It with Terry Woolman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Woolman.
Welcome to the show, and thanks for tuning in. I want to let you know how much I appreciate you joining us today on our show. If you missed last week's interview with legendary bassist Will Lee, you can hear it and all of our episodes at entertalkradio.com/makingit, or download our app and take us with you. Also, be sure to tune in to hear my upcoming conversations with actor, comedian, singer Robert Klein, choreographer, singer, actress Tony Basil, Emmy Award-winning composer, guitarist Snuffy Walden, and bassist Nathan East. I'd also like to thank the companies that help me sound my best, whether I'm performing live or in the studio recording and producing music. Blue Microphones, Taylor Guitars, Seymour Duncan Pickups, Mesa Boogie Amps, Darius Strings and Planet Waves, Motu Digital Performer, IK Multimedia, and Exotic Effects. So often I get asked questions about the creative process, so I created this show to focus on what it takes to have a lasting career in the ever-changing landscape of the music business. You're really in for a treat, as I've invited my friends, some of the best and brightest in music, to share their stories on how they have influenced the music that has shaped our lives. I guarantee you're going to love it. So let's get started. My guest today is Italian saxophonist composer Gianni Vancini. Gianni Vancini was born in Italy in 1978 and is one of the greatest Italian musicians of today. He has also become a name in the American contemporary jazz scene and is known for his passionate playing around the world. His solo career started in 2010 with the release of his debut album, Souls United, which was recorded in the Netherlands with producer Thomas Bank. His first radio single, Grapes, gained significant airplay and very quickly hit the charts. In 2012, Gianni started to explore the U.S. music scene by sharing the stage with other giants in the music industry like Gerald Albright, Eric Marienthal, Jeff Lorber, Eric Darius, and Dave Koz, just to name a few. In that same year, he began work on his new project, Get Your Groove On, which was produced by keyboard player Greg Manning and released in January of 2014. That album was recorded in Los Angeles with an all-star band, which included Ricky Lawson on drums, bassist Daryl Williams and Alex Al, guitarist Sheldon Reynolds and Daryl Crooks, and special guest artists Kirk Whalum, Jeff Lorber, Selena Albright, and Kenya Hathaway. I also had the pleasure of performing on this wonderful album. His latest album, Get Your Groove On, was just released in January 2018 worldwide and is currently receiving radio play around the world. Please welcome my guest today, Gianni Vancini. Welcome, Gianni.
Hi, Terry. It's so good to hear from you.
Yes, it's been a while since we've spoken.
Yeah.
Partially because you live in Italy and I don't.
Yeah, we're not so close, actually. Yeah.
Right now, no, we are not. So you just got home. You've been touring again and promoting your new record and traveling the globe like you do. Must be nice to be home for a few days.
Yes. I'm almost ready to enjoy my day off tomorrow, and but it's only one, so it's better than nothing. But I'm traveling quite a lot now because I'm of course promoting my new album, And in the meanwhile, I'm touring with this Umberto Tozzi, is a very famous Italian singer and composer, and we just started the new tour here in Italy, especially, and we're gonna be busy from now till the end of May. So it's gonna be kind
great.
of yeah.
And you've been touring with Umberto for quite a few years now, haven't you?
Yes, I started in 2002. So it's more like a family.
Right.
Because,
right.
Yeah, the band is quite always, it's always the same. So we know each other since forever now. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and I have seen, not live, but I've seen TV and videos of your concerts with him, and it's not a jazz concert. It's a rock pop concert. It's a full out.
Exactly.
You're hitting
it's
it
more
hard.
Right. It's more like a pop environment, and but it's good. I mean, it's a great music, and I also have a lot of being the only horn player in the band. I have a lot of space, for soloing, and so I have a lot of work to do, so it's great for me.
Are you also singing in the band or playing percussion or any other additional musical challenges?
Right. Yeah. Depending on the set list of the tour, but I usually I play percussions and doing some background vocals, and eventually some additional keys. Yeah, like more of a multi-instrumentalist, setting. Yeah.
Let's talk about growing up in Italy before we talk about your new record and some many other questions that I want to ask you. What can you tell me about your family and your childhood?
Well, I was pretty lucky because my family always wanted me to do whatever I was thinking about. And my dad he's playing actually keyboards, but more for like a hobby. He's not like professional. So I remember I was 5 years old and I started to say, okay, Daddy, I think I want to play music. This is what I really want to do it. And he never, stopped me. But he also never forced me to do it, Now you know what I'm saying? So now that you want to be a musician, now you have to work. No, it's like, take your time. If you like it, go for that. If you don't like it, then stop. So it was very comfortable situation for me. So this is how I started to play music. I was 5 years old, taking like easy piano lessons, having fun for a lot of years.
Piano was your first instrument, correct?
Yes. And in the meanwhile, of course, being a teenager, I was super attracted by the drums. I was, I definitely wanted to play drums, but I was living in an apartment, and of course, neighborhoods were like, no, right. no, there's no way you're going to play drums. So I just kept for a little while to, study piano, getting a little bit serious on it. And at one point, I think I was 14 years old, I decided that I wanted to go to the conservatory because I wanted to have my diploma. So I don't know if I think it's the same in the U.S., but we have like a exam for the teachers to see where you are at. If you're good enough or if you're not good enough to be part of them. So I was pretty. How can I say that? I was sure that I was, everything. I was totally fine with it because I started for a lot of years and blah, blah, blah. The only thing I didn't know is that conservatory is all about classic music.
Right. Yes.
And which is not my focus. I mean, I always played like blues or that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I remember the teacher asked me, okay, can you play some instrument? I was like, of course, I can play piano. So it was like, okay, show me, play something for me. So I started to play this kind of bluesy thing. And at the end of the song, he was looking at me like 2 seconds of silence. It was like, okay, now we have a problem. he was like, maybe you don't know, but we're not playing this kind of stuff here. We are just, starting the classical.
Yeah,
exactly. And another thing, all the course is like 10 years long. Did you know that?
No, I did not. That's like becoming a doctor here in
right. Exactly.
America.
It's a long way to get there.
10-year program.
So,
wow.
Now I had 2 seconds of silence. I was I was like, okay, so maybe you have any other instrument that I can maybe pick up? So he was like, sure, we have violin, flute, clarinet, trombone, saxophone. And when I heard saxophone, I was like, okay, let's try with the saxophone. But the only reason why is it sounded modern to me.
Right. Yeah.
As an instrument, and so I started to with the saxophone. I was not passionate with that instrument. Passion came later. But yeah, so this is how I started to play the saxophone, and but of course now it's my second love.
Well, right. Your first love would be your family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but man, you know what I'm saying. I mean, music and
sure.
It's more like a passion and the love. It's part of you. So it's I have no words to describe what is music for me, right. Except saying that it's part of my life. It's me. So,
but one of the things that is such a huge part of your playing and musicianship is your passion, and not every musician, brings that to the forefront of what they do. I mean, I think most musicians have some level of passion, to drive them, but it's very apparent when you play. When I hear a recording that you're on, or certainly when I share the stage with you, when we've performed live together, that is something that you're just a very passionate musician. The love of your love, not just of music, but of life, comes through your horn. That's what I hear when you play.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, because this is really what I'm focusing now, especially now that I'm more like a artist, if you want to say. I'm not only a sideman, or I'm doing my thing. Mm-hmm. I think the probably being honest with you, first of all, and with the music you're sharing, that's the secret for me. If you really love what you do and what you play, and you really want people happy, to see the people reacting, to your music, that's the thing. And the more I play my stuff, my music, I came back 1 month ago from Holland. I spent 10 days touring there with my music. And man, I saw people crying and dancing and having fun, reacting, smiling. That was so special for me. And man, it's more like a mission. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you feel that you can't keep it for yourself. It just grows inside you, but at one point you need to share it with people. And the more honest you are, the better.
Yes, yeah, that makes great sense. I also, I wonder, is part of the passion that you have in your music, do you think part of that is just being Italian and growing up in Italy, where you're in a very expressive?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I totally agree. I mean, people over here are I mean, I'm not saying that because I'm Italian, but the hospitality, the way we have to welcome people here, it's part of our, it's how we are like this. So, and you can put it in every aspect of our life, food, family.
Yes.
So when it comes to share something with someone else, then man, I think being Italian really helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that when I had a couple of years, I think it's been about 4 years now, but when we came over to Rome to perform together and and you took me to your favorite restaurant, by the water, and every part of the experience, from the certainly the music, number one, but the food, the friends of yours that I met, walking around the Colosseum and seeing all the old and the new right next to each other. It's a very vibrant, I think, loving city. I mean, I'm not over romanticizing. I know that there is sadness and not everybody is wonderful wherever you go, but in general, I really felt that, from that experience of being in Italy with you.
Yeah, that's the main flavor. When you're here, of course, there's good and bad, but yes, that's the way we tend to approach, with someone else. We're trying to just be kind, and if we can do something for someone else, man, there's nothing to stop us. Yes.
So and is that who taught you that? Is that something your mom and dad taught you, or is that what you're saying is just so ingrained in your culture?
No, as I said, I was pretty lucky with my family. They are like this. I mean, my parents' house door is always open. Always open. You always have people coming around, and having fun together, spend the night together, eating something together, or just, passing by saying, hey, hello, drinking a glass of wine, and that's it. Right. So I used to call my house, my parents' house, it's more like a restaurant, Open door, just come in and have fun, Right. So I grew up in this kind of mind setting. So
that's very fortunate.
I could,
yes.
Yeah. So I couldn't be different. I couldn't be any different.
The beauty is you get to teach that to your children. So there will be another generation of Vancinis that share that.
Exactly. They're getting there step by step.
Well, they're still young, but
yeah, a little bit.
We're heading into our first break, and I want to remind everybody to go to GianniVancini.com. We're going to put your link on our website, and we're going to be right back. I want to talk more about your new album, of course, and family and touring and everything. So please stick around, and we've got lots to talk about. We'll be right back.
Serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hey, everybody, this is Will Lee, and you're listening to Making It with Terry Whalum.
Welcome to Making It with Terry Whalum, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Whalum.
Italian saxophonist, composer, artist, Gianni Vancini, and we were listening to something from your new record that I want to talk about right now. And by the way, when I hear your music, whether I'm playing with you or just now, just hearing it, your music makes me happy. It makes me smile.
Well, this is a good thing.
Well, we can all use some happiness, so thank you for spreading that around the world. So, Johnny, tell me about this record. I mean, of course, I played on it, so I'm very proud to be a part of a very amazing group of people that you put together. But tell everybody else about this new record.
Man, this was probably the one of the greatest experience that I ever had in my life. I mean, you of course, you know the story, so I'm happy that you can share it, together with me, because I'm not faking. It's all real. It started. We had to go back in 2012, I think, which is the reason why I actually met you guys.
Yes.
Another friend of mine, Brad Rember, saxophone player, invited me to actually sit with them at Spaghettini in Seal Beach because he knew that I was playing in Canada. Again with Umberto Tozzi, the singer. It was like, okay, I mean, let's see if we can make it. So what I did, I stayed 2 weeks more. I extended my staying in the U.S. And I remember the first rehearsal that we have, sitting with in the studio with Ricky Lawson, and was like, are you like kidding me? Where am
right.
I? mean, no, it's not possible. It was no, it's all real. So let's have some fun. So this is how the story began. I mean, we started to, of course, we did the concert, and right after the concert, I remember Ricky came to me and he was like, "Okay, man, listen, you should think about making a record here." I was like, "Yeah, of course, that would be great, but I don't know what to do. It was like, it was just looking at me. It was like, hey,
right. It didn't seem possible in your mind.
So it was like,
until Ricky brought it to your attention.
Right. And it was exactly. And of course, if you have like in front of you, Ricky Lawson saying, you should do a record here, you better say yes. So
right. Well,
it was like,
I think it's so important when moments like that happen in an artist's career or in anybody's life, whatever you do in life, musician or not, or artist or not. It's important to know how to say yes when it's something that is new and exciting and maybe seems impossible, but it's so important.
Exactly. I mean, I was totally. It was totally out of my mind, like to start to work to a new record in the U.S. But at that point, I was totally trusting Ricky.
Right.
He was like, "You should do it." So I was like, "Okay," and he was like, "You already have a band." And this is how I met Greg for the first time. I mean, we played together during the gig, and you were there.
And Greg
too.
is Greg Manning, who produced the record and played keyboards on it.
Exactly. So we started to talk a little bit about it, and so Get Your Groove On was on my plans at that moment. So we started to work to some new songs. Greg already had some new stuff that he wanted to record, so we just worked a little bit on it to make them good for me. And man, that was kind of a journey. I had the chance to meet a lot of great players and human being. I mean, that's the great thing. Again, being part of such a great team, group of players and people, they were all in go for that. And so supportive, and man, I had a lot of fun. Great inspiration. Yeah.
And one of the things that you did that I thought was really interesting and worked quite well is you decided to bring in another sax player to do a duet with you, and it was Kirk Whalum.
Yes.
How did that come
Yes.
Who thought of that, and how did you make that happen?
I think the song we did is "It's Me," and is a Greg Manning song, and we were listening to it, and I was playing like a sax pilot just to have an idea of the song, and we was just listening to it, and Greg told me, that should be, this could really be like a great duet. Yes, of course. And at some point, Kirk's name, came out. It was like, why? I mean, Greg played with Kirk.
Yes.
So he was like, let's try with Kirk. And again, I was like, yeah, sure, of course, Kirk Whalum. Yes, sure, sure. But yes, it was all real. So at that moment, Kirk was playing with the BWB at the San Diego Jazz Festival. Mm-hmm. It was in the summer. So we organized we kidnapped him at the airport in the morning, and ready to go for in the studio. So we recorded the duet together. That's the great thing. Mostly of the stuff you hear in the record, they're not like played like we used to do, like in different places, no, we are old fashioned. So everything was played in the same room
together. Right. Yes.
I mean, you know that. I mean, we did it also with you.
As a matter of fact, one of the other things that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, and it's along that line, is you and Gregory Manning and I ended up playing something as a trio live and very spontaneously. Yep. And it was an idea that you had for a famous Italian song, and I'd love for us to share that story with people, because the thing that was so great about it was just spontaneous. It was just, we had this idea, and we talked about it, we ran it, and we hit record and just played.
Yeah, exactly.
Which song was that? Can you share? Cafe?
I remember. At that time, I was spending like more than 20 days in LA. Right. And I was missing the coffee so much. Right. For real. Again, see the food. Man, that's Italian, typical Italian. But anyway, and so I started to
motivated by
this
food and love.
Oh man,
Italy, right?
So I started to whistle this song. It's a song from the 70s. It's a super old song. Mm-hmm. And I remember that night you came to visit us, and that it just was there in my mind, and we started to play it exactly as you said. Just play it, record it, that's it. But that's what it's all about. I mean,
But that's one of the things that is special about your record is there's a sense of spontaneity and abandon and collaboration with some really wonderful people and musicians.
Right. I remember. I would love to mention it. The title track, "Get Your Groove On," that was the first track that we cut. And I remember it because the day was 12/12/12. That's kind of crazy, but yeah.
Yes.
December 12th, 2012.
That's a perfect way to start a record.
Together. Yeah. Yeah. So, and we were all together in the room. Ricky Lawson, Alex Sal, Sheldon Reynolds, Greg, of course, Greg Manning, and myself. And we started to play, and I was supposed just to play as a pilot. But what you hear in the record is exactly second take. That's it.
Right.
That's it. I mean, we went back to listen to it. I mean, the song was there.
It worked.
So, again, it's more about capturing that moment. It's not, okay, let's do, edit stuff. No. It's more like a live thing.
So let me ask you some things about your creative process. When you perform as a guest on other musicians' albums, do you do anything special or different to prepare for the recording session that you would do for your own record?
I try to first understand what I'm who is the one I'm playing with, and trying to get a little bit deep into his style and his project. And
how do you do that? Do you go and listen to their previous records, or read about them, or talk with them?
Exactly, especially talk with them. Or with them, just have a talk and see, what is really thinking, with making that particular album, and his goals and whatever, his inspirations, everything that could be helpful to me. And again, I just add a little bit of me. Trying to, it's like, how can I say that? It's like trying to be, again, try to welcome a guest in your world, in your house. If someone is asking about Gianni for playing a solo, I like to think that they want me because they know they like the way I play the saxophone.
Right.
Not because they just want a regular saxophone solo. They just want a little bit more, human touch. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So if they go for me, it means that they really like, hopefully, what I do. So I tend to mix these two things: my way of playing together with their kind of playing, and most of the time it works.
Right. What's your creative process when you're writing music for yourself, or are you, with all the traveling and touring, do you end up writing music on the road, or do you only do that when you're at home and having some vacation time?
I'm more like a collector. Can I say that? Like of ideas, just little things. Maybe a melody or even a rumor could be an inspiration for me, or a groove. So I tend to collect all these kind of inspirations, and when I have time, I just put everything on the table, and I just start to really getting deep with everything that I collected.
Right. But I like looking at it that way. That's an interesting way of seeing. I've never heard anybody describe it quite that way.
Let's say
I understand what you mean, Johnny.
Okay. And but I feel more comfortable find out melodies. That's I mean, if I have like a track with no melodies, that's my comfort zone.
Say that again. I missed that.
Oh yeah, I mean, my comfort zone is when I have maybe someone or just I have like a groove with no melody. So if I need to create the melody, that's my comfort zone.
Got it. That makes sense. I want to ask you something about living in Europe versus living in America, because you've traveled all over the world as a performer. Do you find it easier to make a living as a touring musician in Italy than if you lived here in America?
No. I mean, it's I would say Europe, because Italy, it's so small itself. I mean, and Europe is small as well. I mean, Today I was in Prague. I flew back like 3 hours ago, and maybe tomorrow I can be, with a 2 hours flight, you can be wherever you want in Europe. So everything is so small here, and but I feel that especially in the north of Europe, there's more like there's more respect for music and musicians. Mm-hmm. Over here, we're getting there. Even if, I mean, the funny thing is that we are super famous for the classical stuff that we have, but when it comes to jazz or especially contemporary jazz, it's not that easy. It's a matter of fact, a lot of the things that I do, I'm not doing them in Italy. I need to travel Germany, England, Holland, whatever. But Italy, it's kind of tough. But it's more like a cultural thing, especially for the youngest generation, to get involved with contemporary jazz. I found that when it comes to jazz, the word jazz, it's kind of scary.
On that note, we're heading into our next break, but let's talk about how jazz is kind of scary when we get back, and we will be right back in just a quick moment. So stick around.
Adam Berry, and you're listening to Making It with Terry Wolf.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on InterTalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on InterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Aubrey Logan, and you are listening to Making It with Terry Woolman.
Welcome to Making It with Terry Woolman, the show that explores the secrets, successes, and strategies for making it in the music biz. And now, here's your host, Terry Woolman.
And welcome back. You're listening to Gianni Vancini with Greg Manning and myself on guitar. That's the song that we were talking about. Your love
Yes.
and longing for a good cup of coffee.
Yes, exactly. But see, this is the result. So it was good to miss the coffee.
Right. Sometimes pain can bring pleasure to other people.
See, exactly.
So you were just talking about that basically it's hard to get work, in the city that you live in, and even in the country that you live in, but it's so easy to get on a plane or drive to the next country, in 2 hours, in 2 hours it takes us to get from Long Beach to Los Angeles, or so,
I know.
And you end up in another country, working. So that's part of the beauty of where you live.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of easy to travel here.
Yeah, but you were talking about basically the fear of jazz.
Yes, I mean especially for the young people, like teenagers, 20 years old, 25 years old. If they it's funny. If they hear like the word jazz, they're getting scary, meaning that for them is difficult music,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably because especially here in Italy, we traditional jazz and hard bop, that kind of stuff, it's kind of famous, but it's not for the young generation. It's I wouldn't say old fashioned, but of course they are more like into, modern stuff like hip hop or whatever. The funny thing is that once they hear contemporary jazz, I mean, if you listen to like smooth jazz, it's not that difficult. It's happy music. It's could be soulful music. There's a lot of R&B in it. And once they hear it, they all react like, oh, and this is jazz? I thought it was like more like boring stuff. So no, man.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So the only reason why is because they hear jazz, the word jazz. So it's, oh, no, it's not for me. So but as I said, we're getting there. And if I have a second, I would like to say thank you to the label that actually released my album, Alpha Music, which is from Rome, and they are kind of very courageous people, because they decided to open this new smooth jazz, contemporary jazz channel, and using my album. So because they really believe that also this kind of music can have like a great future here. So I really want to say thank you to Alpha Music, for, of course, to believe in me in my music, of course, and in me as well. So again, it's more like a mission. It's another mission that we have, but we will be there. Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful to Alpha Music for having the courage and the wisdom to choose you as the artist that they wanted to launch their vision with. I think it's fantastic. And one of the things, you were mentioning R&B and pop, and I think that that's an important element of what a lot of us do, because we're, I consider myself a pop musician with a jazz background, in pop and R&B. And I see you the same way. And a lot of us, that our influences are not primarily jazz influences. Our influences are other forms of music, popular music. And then we bring our love of jazz into that. We integrate it into that. And I think it's kind of a mashup of styles, but that's what makes music interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of element in there. There's, of course, improvisation. It's a great part of what we do, but you can have people dancing. I mean, if you look at Gerald Albright shows, man,
right?
Dave, whatever. I mean, just to mention someone, of the big names. I mean, people are dancing and having fun.
Right, you're saying Dave Koz, you're referring to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Dave Koz. So it's more about the great thing is to combine, the jazz part of what we do, meaning improvisation and that kind of stuff, where it doesn't matter, but people are having fun, and they're getting touched by maybe a ballad or whatever, even if it's instrumental music, which is even worse for us because we don't have words.
Right.
We only have notes. Only just it's a way to say, but yeah. So it's hard for us to touch someone in that way. But it's great. It's a challenge, but it's really great. And this is what I just experienced in Holland, especially.
Right.
And by the way, I promised them, because they were great guys. I played with an Holland band. The name of the band is The Pact, and I want to mention their names because it took me like 10 days to get there to learn how to pronounce it. So now that I got it. So Sietse Hasman on drums, Tico Pierhagen on keys, and Ronnie Jonker on bass.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they're a great band, and I can say, now we're planning to be back together after the summer, putting together a new tour, European tour actually. We had a lot of fun, and man, it's great. We'll be back.
That's wonderful. And are you would that band be coming to America at all, or are you going to be coming over here to do any performing?
Oh, that would be great, but we didn't talk about US actually.
Right.
It's too far for us,
okay.
At least for now. But that could be an option, of course. We were more looking at the Scandinavian part of Europe and Germany, of course Holland, and a little bit of Austria, Switzerland, and of course Italy. So well, that's as you Johnny, can see. You can do everything in like less than 10 days.
Absolutely. What I was going to say is it's very interesting now that a lot of artists, you and I included, have a few different bands in different countries. So you have your Holland band. You've got an American band. You know, when you come over here, there's a group of musicians that are ready to get up on stage and play with you. And it's the same when I go to the UK. I've got a British band that I work with, and you've played with me over there at the Pizza Express in London. And, you know, it's kind of a new way of doing things. And when we were in Europe together, we worked with other musicians, and it's, you know, it never used to be that way, but it's, at the beginning I resisted it, but I'm finding it kind of stimulating and more interesting now as well, too.
Yes. You know, in a way, it was, I mean, I think everything started probably because of a budget thing. You know, of course, if you travel all alone, it's, you know, better in that way. Yeah,
it is.
In that way, budget-wise. So, but yeah, as you just said, I mean, it's great now because you have the chance to explore different cultures.
Right.
But playing your music. So the music never changed. It's always your music, but played with different cultures. You know, people from Holland, of course, they would play it like they have a different vibe from the US or. Oh, and by the way, I need to, now that I'm talking about bands, I need to mention my Italian band, of course. The Groove Family. They're great guys. Now it's easy because they are all Italians. So Cristiano Michalizzi, Jacopo Carlini, Matteo Carlini, Valentina Ducrot, all great professionals. Man, they are really rocking, and I'm so glad to play with them here. We just did a show in Rome, by the way, to promote the album. That was, you know, that was kind of a great night. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Yeah. So sorry, but just
so we have just about 5 minutes left in our show. I want to ask you a couple of quick questions. One of them is a two-part question. The name of the show is called Making It with Terry Whalum. I want to know, what does making it mean to you, both personally and professionally? And can you share 3 tips for success that have worked in your career? So first of all, what does making it mean to you?
Making it, I would repeat myself, but I really believe in it. Making it is to see the reaction of the audience with your music. For me, it really means that you did it. You know what I'm saying? That the music that you are playing, it really comes through. And if you can see the reaction, you did it.
Yes.
Yeah. 3 tips now. Okay. Being courageous. I don't know how to say it in English, but testardo.
Say it in Italian.
Testardo. If never, you know, if you're down, okay, get back on your way and do it. Try it again. Never stop trying. And the third one, trusting people. Trusting people. Because, you know, again, there's good and bad, but, you know, trusting people. The human factor is the first place in my, you know, in my way of thinking. Trusting people and play with people that you trust in.
Those are great pieces of advice. Thank you for that. Here's a question that I ask all of my guests at the end of each show. At this point of your life, with everything that you know to be true, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh, man. That's an odd question. But again, I would just keep on, you know, saying the same things. Very few things. And if you believe it, just do it. Just do it. Never stop. Because it's worse to renounce to something that you really feel in your heart. You know, try it and go for that. No matter what, but go for that.
That's also wonderful advice. I wanted to ask you just a personal question, if we had time, and we do. Tell me how being a father has influenced you as an artist. You have 3 wonderful young children.
Yeah. Well, being a father, it's of course being a father change. Just it changed yourself. I mean, you're not as you were anymore. Mm-hmm. Your life just is totally different story. And you're more probably focused on what's really important in life, and being in that in that way of thinking in your personal private life. I think even if you don't want it, but it's going into your music as well. So again, it's probably part of being honest in what you do and what you present to people, So in this way, yes. And of course, when I play, I always think about my kids, so it's getting, I'm getting emotional. The more I get old, the more, emotional I get. So yeah. And you can see that. I mean, it happens sometimes that, you can see a little, eye drop.
Right.
Here and there.
A tear. Yes. An eye drop. That's great. Yeah. Gianni, where can people find more about you and also hear your new album?
Of course, my website, which is www.giannivancini.com. The social part on Facebook, I have my official page. I'll go there, and I mean all the news out there, tour dates, whatever. And of course, the CD, all the main digital platforms, you can find it there. And if you want the physical copy, of course, for now it's all national. It's only national distribution. But again, we're working on a new project. Probably, I shouldn't say that, but we're thinking about the vinyl nice. Product for maybe after the summer.
Great.
Maybe now the label, they're not happy because I said that. But no, anyway.
Well,
yeah, but we'll see.
Fortunately, this show is broadcast only all over the world, so it will no longer be a secret. In our last 30 seconds, is there anything you want to say?
Well, of course, I want to thank you, Terry. Again, first of all, for being a friend, such a great friend, and of course for inviting me to your show. I mean, I had a great time, and I can't say that we spent 1 hour already talking. Yes. I mean, time flies.
It does. It does with people that you love and respect. I want to thank you too, Gianni, and I want to thank all of you listeners for joining us for this hour, and we will be back next week. Go check out Gianni Vancini on iTunes and anywhere else you can find music. Thanks for listening.
Episode of Making It with Terry Whalum.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.